up, Guardians? Welcome to the first DNA strand of the DNA Weekly Strike. I'm Corey Dirrig, and with me, making his DNA debut, Brian Anderson. How you doing, Brian?
Very excited to be here, and I'm definitely ready to start talking about some Destiny.
Right. I know this is one of our highest requested new shows, so we thought we'd start off with this one. So we're going to get right into it. Our first topic of Weekly Strike is going to be the 2.0 update coming with the Taken King expansion. So, Brian, you want to go over a little bit what this 2.0 update is doing, and just in general, and then we'll go into the specifics.
Yeah, I mean, so for the most part, what the big changes is assault rifles for one. They're finally going to try to bring those, balance them in with the other weapons. Before, they were huge in the game. You couldn't jump into a PvP match and not find a Surios or a Vanquisher being used. Now they are completely been eliminated from the game. You don't see them in PvP. You don't see them in PvE. And a lot of those weapons I loved using, and they feel almost dead to me.
Unless you're me, when today I picked up 3.
Well, yes, but I would hold on to them. We don't know until we get our hands on them what they're going to do. Basically, on the assault rifles, they're talking about buffing the base damage, which was definitely a must. They weren't doing enough damage. However, that there is going to be a drop off on the range. So close up, you're going to do a good amount of damage, but the farther away that enemy is, you're going to see that drop off happen very quickly. Also, pulse rifles, they're going to play around with a little bit. They're going to change the stability, but for the most part, they're going to do the same damage in PvP. You're going to see a lot of pulse rifles still. And in PvE, they're an okay choice, but obviously not your optimal what you want to do. Scout rifles, they're staying the same. Destiny has come out and said that that's the one weapon, and sniper rifles, that are operating how they want them to. So you're not going to see a lot of changes in scout rifles or sniper rifles. Hand cannons is seeing a little bit of a nerf. You're going to see range is going to be decreased. The magazine is going to be decreased. They want to increase scout rifle magazine size. They want to decrease it on the hand cannon. So more damage, but small clip. And shotguns pretty much the same. Fusion rifles, not too much. But what I really want to start talking about is the individual exotic nerfs. I'm just going to call them nerfs because it's pretty much that's
what everybody's been calling it all over the internet. I know one thing everybody is really complaining about is Gallahorn, but there's a couple weapons that you use specifically.
Gallahorn hits me hard just because the day that they announced this update was the day I finally picked up my Gallahorn. Basically, all they're nerfing is the Wolfpack rounds, which is upsetting. I still feel like it's going to be the best rocket launcher.
Yeah. I
don't see anything being better unless they come out with something.
Unless the Taken King has some new exotic weapon that's going to take over.
And they might, and that's why we really shouldn't freak out too much about these because we haven't even seen what they're going to come out with yet. Now, the few exotic ones that I am excited about, one, and you actually picked this weapon up today, is the Hard Light. It's an assault rifle. It doesn't get a lot of love right now. They're going to increase the stability. They're going to increase the bounce count for the projectiles. When you shoot it, they usually bounce around. So that'll be pretty cool. And those aren't affected by the damage fall off that you're going to see with the assault rifles. So that'll be nice. The one that I'm kind of excited about is the Necrochasm. Now, this is a gun that is very difficult to obtain. You have to go through multiple steps to get this gun. Eventually, you get it. You're excited. And it's quite possibly the worst weapon. One of the worst weapons in the game.
That's what I've been hearing. I've heard there's multiple steps. Even missions that require you to get these parts.
The first thing, you gotta get the Husk of the Pit, which is a white assault rifle. You have to go kill some hive. Eventually you'll level it up. Then you have to beat Crota on hard to get a crux, and then you apply it to it. After doing all this work, you finally get this gun. And it doesn't work how I think they intended it to. The problem that I have found with it is it's one of those high rate of fires, low impact assault rifles. But the perk on it, called Cursebringer, when you shoot someone, they're supposed to explode. It did not work the way it was intended, and it didn't work all the time, which is what they said. So they're changing it so that the Cursebringer will always trigger on a precision kill, and that it's going to do a lot more damage. It should be a lot more like Firefly. So those are about the only two I'm excited about. Now we can start talking about the ones that really hurt. And the 2, maybe 3 biggest ones, let's start off with the icebreaker and what you think about that. They're changing the regeneration on the ammo from 5 seconds to 8 seconds.
3 seconds is a long time in a shooter.
You would, at first you kind of think, 3 seconds, it's not that bad. But
once you start counting it out and how fast, even like, let's just use Crucible for example. When you're like chasing someone down and you're getting in a firefight and you go to 3 seconds is a long time.
3 seconds is very long time.
2, 3, like you could be dead. You'd be dead.
I'm going to use it more in a PvE sense because as much as I have used the icebreaker in PvP, but it's not my go-to sniper. But you empty that clip out. And you will, in most cases, you will empty it out pretty quickly if you're going against a boss or whatever.
Right.
The time it's going to take to regain that a full clip, or at least a clip that you're going to want to start shooting again, is going to take at least, a lot longer. And that's going to, your damage you can potentially do over time has decreased now because of that. So that one to me kind of hurts. Not as bad as the Black Hammer.
Right.
The Black Hammer, they have, in my opinion, completely took what was special about this gun and just killed it. Because before you had the white nail perk, and if you know what this is, it's before there was 15 bullets in the clip. You would have 3 and 12 then. If you landed all 3 of those precision shots quickly in a pretty good amount of time, it would just reset your ammo. You'd still be at 3 and 12. You wouldn't even have to reload. The action of reloading wouldn't happen. So now what they're going to do is, if you land those shots, it's still going to be at 3, but then they're going to pull from your reserves.
Yeah, that's not what people want. That's like the biggest point of that weapon.
Well, and that was the thing, is that you were being rewarded for having skill.
Right.
So it wasn't that it like either of those guns were breaking the game or doing anything where they felt overpowered. They felt special, but they were, the one's an exotic. Black Hammer might as well be.
Right.
And those were 2 guns that they helped you, but they did not in any way make you feel overly powerful and that you had an advantage over people who didn't have them. Let's talk about now the hand cannon. The 3 major hand cannons. Now, if you've played, and you have played a little bit of PvP,
right,
and I'm sure you've been killed by a Thorn or a Hawkmoon or a Last Word.
Hawkmoon's the PS4 exclusive weapon, right?
Hawkmoon is the PS4 exclusive. Yes, so is, I believe, the Monte Carlo.
Right. Both of those are coming to Xbox the day Taken King comes out.
The same day that the Taken King comes out, you will be able to get these weapons.
We'll get into this later, but they're going to have a whole new list of exclusive weapons for PS4.
Right. Again, PS4 is my choice to play this game on, and it's unfortunate for those Xbox users that they've never got to fire a Hawkmoon, because I can tell you how amazing that is. The buff or the nerf on that one isn't that big of a deal. I want to talk about the Thorn. That is the most used gun in PvP.
Someone said, I think I was listening to Fireteam Chat, the IGN podcast the other day, where like 26% of the people use this gun.
Oh, it's easily, you can put a number on it, but it seems like it's more than that.
Yeah, it was like 26% in Crucible, and the number was much higher in like Iron Banner situations.
If you play, I play a lot of Trials, and I play a lot of Iron Banner, and I can go into a game of Trials and pretty much already guess what at least 1 or 2 of their guys is going to run with. Someone always has a Thorn. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with people using that weapon. But the only thing they're doing to that one is they're changing the Mark of Devour. That's the damage over time, the poison almost when you get shot. They're just going to change it so it's 1/3 of what it normally was, which is actually a pretty big amount. It's not going to nearly do as much damage. And to me, that's not a problem. I don't mind that gun, whatever they want to do with it, whatever. The Last Word is the one. That's my go-to gun.
I know. Every time we play, you're using that gun.
I have loved the Last Word. Not so much when I got... that gun kind of takes some skill to get good with. It's not like you can just pick it up and you're going to go in and you're going to get 10 more kills than what you normally did. What they're doing is they're changing a lot of stats on it. The range is going to be reduced from 20 to 10. The stability is going down to 20 from 30. The effective range while aiming is going to go down. However, they are going to increase the accuracy and precision damage when firing from the hip. So basically, that's what they want. And that's when they designed that gun, that's how they wanted it to be used. From the hip. They didn't want people aiming in with it. And they didn't want it to be long range. I've been able to kill people from way too far with that gun.
Yeah.
I mean, a good way across the map, and you can pick somebody off while scoped in with the last word. So those ones, it hurts me because it seems like that gun's almost going to be useless now.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Because it sounds like it's going to be one that you're going to have to get nice, up and close, and people are going to start. That's when people are going to have shotguns.
Right.
So that gun's hurting. The Hawk Moon one, not that big of a deal. The issue with the Hawk Moon is that there are 2 perks on that gun. There's holding aces, which 2 bullets in the clip do extra damage, and then there's also luck in the chamber. So there's 3 bullets out of the 13. I believe it's 13 in the clip. All do extra damage. Now they can stack on top of each other. So if you were to shoot a random lucky bullet that has all 3 of them, I could kill you with 1 shot. So they took that away, so only 2 can stack on top of each other. That's it. That's not that big of a deal because it was pretty rare to begin with.
Right.
But other than that, those are the big changes. Obviously, people were having issues with the 2 snipers, and I think a lot of people were upset about the Gallahorn. But Bungie did that because people were forming fire teams for either a raid or a nightfall, and they were excluding a lot of people who didn't have one.
Right. Do you think that's my next point? Do you think that's why they're nerfing all these, especially the Gallahorn, to try to get people to play with more people, or do you think they're nerfing these specific weapons to hopefully get people to get the new guns from the Taken King?
Well, I think the Gallahorn one was, I think, because people weren't exactly playing with everybody. They were excluding certain people, and I think some people just thought it was way too overpowered. That's pretty much the only gun. If you had that gun, that's what you were using as your heavy. A lot of Guardians loadouts look the same. And I think they want a little diversity.
Yeah.
They want to see other weapons used, and that's not how I would have went about it. I think instead of nerfing these guns that felt special to me, that really they served their purpose as an exotic. You wanted these weapons. It made me want to play the game. I played that game for so long to get that Gallahorn because I wanted to feel power. It makes you feel powerful when today when you and me played Omnigul, and we 2-manned it because we just melted her with our Gallahorns. You felt powerful.
Right. I dropped that bubble in the back with my Titan, and I shot all my rockets, and then we switched spots, and then you took her out. And then somehow I ended up with 2 more rockets, and then I ended up taking her out.
That's what I'm saying. It made me feel powerful, and I thought, it's an exotic weapon.
Let's be honest. You are pro Destiny player, and I'm not. I've never been good at shooters except for Gears of War. That is well documented on our shows. It's well documented just by you and me playing and
we played a lot of shooters. I know where your skill level's at on those.
Yeah. So having that Gallahorn, because my primary weapon situation is awful. It's
pretty weak.
I have a pretty decent special, and I have a Gallahorn. That was my first exotic drop, was a Gallahorn, and that weapon, when I get the rockets and I get all that heavy ammo and I use that weapon, it just makes me feel like I can kind of almost keep up with you.
And that's why I think it's in a way it's a great weapon, because maybe someone who's lesser skilled, they can get that and they can do those strikes in the nightfalls and everything. But a lot of people will form fire teams and ask. I don't know how many times I've heard, do you have a Gallahorn?
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've gone on the Destiny PS4 group on Facebook or the Destiny Fire Team chat, and people are like, hey, we need one more to run PoE. We need one more to run trials.
Must have
fully
Gallahorn.
level Gallahorn. Must have Gallahorn. Must have Gallahorn.
Right. And I mean, so I don't really care that they're nerfing it because I've been able to, run a 35 PoE. I've beat Skolas. I've beaten all the raids without a Gallahorn.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal to me. That one kind of makes sense. It'll still be a very good weapon.
Just, if they're going to nerf it, it's not going to be that bad. It may be noticeable a little bit to players who have used it for everything,
right.
But to people like you who went through almost a year without having this weapon.
Almost a year without it. So, yep. I just got it last week, and they're already taking it down. So that's all right by me.
Yeah. So, well, I guess we can get into a little topic about the Taken King. What are you going to expect from this expansion? It comes out in what? Less than 2 months?
Less than 2 months. I'm very excited about the raid. I think it was, this last DLC, as much fun as I have with it, with Trials, because I'm a huge PvP player, the feeling that I get from guys who only really like PvE is Prison is just, I don't think, really doing it for them. There's just not enough there. So the new raid #1 is obviously what I'm looking forward to, and it's gonna be huge.
Yeah, and it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be hard because Crota on normal you have to be 30.
I think you can be 29. I don't know. You can be lower. I don't know how much.
I think when we ran it the first time, I was less than 30.
Yeah,
I was right at 30.
I don't remember Crota. The Crota raid seemed easy, a lot easier than Vault of Glass was awesome. There's so many little different things, even if it's the jumping platforms or the Gorgon's Labyrinth. I just thought that stuff was cool. In Crota, it seemed more just, all right, just kill him. Just shoot this person, kill this person.
That's kind of what I got. And most of it is like, when we ran it, I died right at the beginning of like where you run through and you got to avoid the pits while the
lanterns, yeah.
But like, if I could have gotten through that part a little bit easier, that raid looks way simpler than what
it is very, very simple.
Vault of Glass was. I personally prefer Vault of Glass. Every time I've run a raid without you, it's been Vault of Glass.
Well, the weapons, especially because now that you can get them up to 365,
right?
The Vault of Glass weapons are still the ones you want,
right?
Hunger of Crota is good. Obviously, Black Hammer, you don't need that anymore,
right?
There's really no point in having that sniper. I think that was a big one that people would play Crota normal just because, oh, hey, I want to get Black Hammer. Yeah, I hope you run and get that. But now there's really no point in getting that. Hunger of Crota is good. Fang of Ur, that's from the hard one. That it's decent, but now you have so many new scout rifles but the Vault of Glass weapons still hold up today against the Crota, against Trials, against the PoE. Vault of Glass, I still think are the best weapons.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. So,
but yeah, definitely the raid, new armor, new weapons. Always excited for the new weapons.
Always excited for new weapons.
I love it. Hopefully the exotics will be a little more useful. Yeah, a little more exotic.
Sometimes I feel like, people are using more of the legendary weapons than the exotics just because some of them are better than the exotics.
The legendaries seem to be more all-purpose. You can use them for more situations. The exotics are situational now, it seems, except for the Gallahorn. You could use the Gallahorn for anything. But, hand cannons, those are pretty much, you're going to use those in PvP. You're not going to use the last word in a Crota raid. You might use the Hawkman. The Hawkman's very good in both, but those legendary guns, they're very good, and especially, Fatebringer. Oh, I love that gun.
I know. I'm very jealous of all the weapons that you have, and I'm sitting here with a pulse rifle that makes me, or not a pulse rifle, a scout rifle that's like trash.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad scout rifle, but eventually you will get them, and we'll keep playing and get some good ones before the Taken King comes out, so we can hopefully get some better ones.
That's the goal. That's the goal with our second Destiny show, Fireteam, which we'll get into at the end of the show. But that brings us to our question segment, where you, the viewers, can write in, and we're going to try to answer your questions. Well, Brian's going to answer them because he's the best. But I'll give my input if I can. So we're gonna jump right into the questions. Todd Oxtra, awesome host of Secret Friends Unite. Shout out to you and your podcast. It's great. He writes in, I'm level 33. What's the quickest way to level 34?
All right, well, there's a few ways you can get from 33 to 34, and pretty quickly, actually. Depending on what armor you need, you can go see what Barracks is selling. He's the Prison of Elders guy out in the Reef. And then all you would have to do is run a level 32 Prison of Elders, grab that armor core, go back, buy that piece. It's already 42 light. I mean, if you're level 33, you only need 2 more pieces. 2 or 1. And then also you could run that 34 PoE. Even out of 33, you can get through it. I've taken 32s through it.
You took me through it last week.
Took you through it. Get that etheric light, and you're able to already ascend that last piece of armor you need. That's pretty much the quickest way that you can do it, in my opinion.
Right. So, that's what we're going to work on tonight, is getting me up to that level 34.
Yeah. And unfortunately, he's selling a piece of armor that you already have. So what I would do is I would run that 34 Prison of Elders, and you're guaranteed that etheric light at the end. You put them on. I think you need your boots.
Yeah,
you need your boots leveled up. Yeah, I would put them on your boots then, and bam, you're 34.
Right. All right. Our next question comes from Lewis Keneally. Asks, what is the best way to get exotic shards?
Well, the best way to get them is to buy them from Xur.
Yeah, that's what I did. I bought mine from Xur. I'm waiting to get my Galahorn all the way leveled up with the damage.
Yeah, man.
Thing and that last
easily. So really, is quite. I mean, to answer the question better, you would have to get some strange coins, obviously, to be able to buy these shards. So you got to run that weekly strike every week with however many characters you have. Run it on the hardest difficulty. Get the 9 strange coins. You start hoarding those up, and you'll be able to buy quite a few. I don't know how much shards cost. I don't remember. Is it 7?
It's 7 or 9. I think it's 7.
7 sounds right. Yeah, I think it's 7 coins. You buy it for 7 coins, and there you go. Or dismantle your exotic gear. I wouldn't recommend that, but you could.
Right. So our next question comes from Jason Bishop. He asks, what's your favorite Elder Cypher's weapon? This is multiple part. So what's your favorite Elder Cypher's weapon? How do those weapons stack up against, say, Patience in Time, Swordbreaker, and Plan C? And are there any Elder Cypher weapons worth your exotic slot?
Well, since I already only have one Elder Cypher weapon, that's pretty. I have the Queenbreaker's bow, and that
weapon is awesome.
It looks awesome. It looks like you took the gun from the fallen snipers. Right. I think have it. It looks like you just took it right off of them and are using it. I think that's what I like about it, is the look, the feel.
It's very different.
The play style on it's a little different. It's a charge style it's a fusion sniper mix. So you got the sniper rifle aspect of scoping in and aiming for those headshots, but you have to charge it first, which can be annoying at first, but once you get it down, that weapon can be disgusting. That's PvP pretty much is what you want to play with Queenbreakers. Lord of the Wolves, and I believe it's Dirrig's Promise is the sidearm. I don't know much about Dirrig's Promise. I haven't seen a single person use it, but I have played against Lord of Wolves. That one's pretty cool. It's almost like a 3-round burst shotgun. Not a lot of range on it. But the cool thing about that gun is when you kill somebody, your allies around you get a +3 recovery time.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
So that's more of a PvE weapon. I mean, if you're using that in, let's say, Skolas, and you kill somebody with it, that's going to give you and your teammates recovery if you're all right next to each other. So that weapon's also very cool. I don't know much about Dirrig's Promise. I just know it's like a burst-style sidearm. It's arc. I don't recommend using it. I haven't seen anybody use it in PvP or PvE. So I don't know. I would like to get it and try it out. It could be cool. I don't know. But how it holds up, those aren't my favorite exotics. If I'm going into a level 35 Prison of Elder, I'm not taking my Queenbreakers. Right. Pretty much. That's not going to be my go-to weapon. Lord of Wolves could be viable there. If you can afford to give up that exotic slot. If you have good legendary primaries, then right. Yeah, if you want to run, Fatebringer and Lord of Wolves, go ahead. But They don't. I mean, I wouldn't take them over any of my other ones. That's definitely not my setup.
Right.
Except for PvP, I might every now and then throw that bow on, just for fun.
I feel like when you have your go-to setups,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like if you were to experiment, you'd go straight into Crucible to experiment with new weapons.
Well, certain weapons are designed for different playstyle. If like that Lord of Woofs, for instance, I would use that. I would test it out in strikes maybe before, or even a raid now, because you're so leveled up now. But I was testing out Queen Breakers and just regular control before I took it into trials, and I got destroyed with it when I tried to use it in trials. But I've seen people use it and have been very, very successful. But there's better exotics, in my opinion, out there.
Awesome. All right, we got 2 more questions. First one comes from Ray Osorio. He's from the Nerd Overdrive and Phoenix Overdrive. He does a lot of cool stuff for Extra Life. So, Ray, awesome job. Keep it up over there. He asks, what's your favorite weapons and armor? And do you favor up close, mid range, or distant combat in either PvE or PvP?
Well, I think we've discussed my favorite weapons. You know, the last word, and I'm definitely more of a long range. I always snipe in trials, but that's why I bring the last word with me, because it's a little bit of both. You kind of need to balance out how you want to play. You can't just go shotgun last word. I mean, you can. I've seen people do it well, but I like a little bit of mixture. I'm going to run a hand cannon and a sniper, or a scout rifle and a shotgun, something like that. Favorite armor depends what I'm going into. If I'm going into a raid, I'm going to use completely different armor, especially because I have 3 characters. So, for instance, the Titan, I'm going to use the Helm of Saint 14 on my defender class. But if I'm running PvP, I'm going to run Striker with either the Helm of Unmost Light or like my quick revive for trials, which is huge. If you're into playing trials, I love the quick revive armor. That's huge. Getting a revive is almost as good as getting a kill sometimes. So it really just depends what you want to play. If you're going to play Crucible or Trials, I always stack my intellect and discipline all as high up as I can. I don't care about strength at all. And that's my go-to method on that. But varies. Weapons pretty much the same. Armor I'll play around with.
Awesome. So our last question comes from Scott Livingston. He asks, what is the easiest way or the best way to get Flawless Raider?
Easiest way to get Flawless Raider. I say Crow to normal. That raid now it's a lot easier to control it versus Vault of Glass. There's a lot of variables that can go into that one. Going against Atheon, you don't know who's going to get teleported in. Not everyone can use this, the relic, all that stuff. You can control Crow to normal, what happens in that one. That one's very easy to get it. The very first section, we just ran one guy through the lanterns. That was it. I think it was me. I used my hunter, went invisible, pretty much just ran through it. Got to the end, sniped the ogres, went to the next part. If you know how to handle the bridge, where you actually will have to get everyone across. You won't be able to do the glitch where with the warlocks where you let everyone die and you self-res and everything despawns. Can't do that, obviously. So you actually have to do the bridge, but if you have everyone above level 30, it shouldn't be too difficult. When you go up against you can pretty much stay as one team instead of splitting into 2. Take out the wizards first, then you'll go take out the shriekers, switch to the other side, do the same, then just go in and take her out. And then Crota, if you don't know how to beat Crota, then you're not going to get Flawless Raider. So That's my opinion, is Crota normal. Of course, you know what? I also think, and I haven't really tested this out yet, I think Prison of Elders counts as a raid.
Does it?
I think, because I got the achievement for completing a raid with your everyone in the same clan. Yeah, in the same clan. And there was 3 of us, and obviously it's not a raid. So I if someone tests that out, if someone can run a Prison of Elders I don't know. I don't think you'd have everyone in the same clan for the flawless, do you?
No.
Obviously not, because I would have got that achievement. Someone needs to run a Prison of Elders and let us know if no one dies, if they end up getting the flawless raider. Because I'm pretty sure it will work.
Right. Email us, digitalnerdadvocates@gmail.com, or leave it on our Facebook community page if you've done that. That's about it for all the questions. We're going to wrap up the show now. Brian, this is going to be a weekly thing.
If anyone wants to see us really complete anything, raids, trials, anything like that, send in your requests, and we'll try to get together a video of our method of how we like to beat things.
We're going to do a second Destiny show. This is our podcast version, but we're also going to do a video kind of walkthrough and tips type thing called Fire Team. We're going to record that actually after this tonight. On Wednesdays we get on and record Destiny stuff. So if anything you're struggling with, if you have anything you want to do and run with us, just email us. We'll try to get back with you and set something up. We play Destiny a lot. Brian,
a lot. Probably too much.
Probably too much. I've just recently gotten back into it, been grinding a lot, playing a lot. So, email us, let us know on the community page. We'll get back to you, set something up. So that just about wraps it up. You can find me on Twitter at RogueSpartan4. You can find me on PlayStation Network to run Destiny at RogueSpartan4. I'll play with anybody. I'm usually playing with Brian, so if you want to play with me, you'll probably be added to our Fire Team. PlayStation. We play on PlayStation, so sorry, Xbox guys. But
no Hawkmoon.
No Hawkmoon. Not yet.
No.
Not yet. A couple weeks they will, but not.
They're gonna get
our Hawkmoon.
They're gonna get the watered down version.
Right. So that just about does it for Weekly Strike. Visit digitalnerdadvocates.com. You can find this show and all of our other shows playing every day. We have a new show going up daily. Leave comments, like, subscribe, share on our YouTube page. And until next time, see ya.